What's going on, y'all? Oh, snap! It says okay, my mic was muted. Oh, okay. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the latest edition of Wos Speaks. I'm your host, Big Wos AKA Wosny Lambre. Once again, shouts to my homie producer John Gervais, keeping the one on the ones and threes, keeping the trains moving on time. Top of the show, man. I would just like to make sure you guys know about a show announcement. We're doing a live show in Los Angeles, California. This will be July 20. No, hold on. Sorry. Let me get the get the dates right. This will be May May the 3rd. Saturday, May the 3rd. We did a show in July last year in New York. Sorry. May the 3rd of this year, next month, out here in LA at Baron Davis's Slick Studios. It's gonna be the CTD crew, Baron Davis, a couple of other dope guests. Like if you guys listened to or watched or was at our show in New York, you know we came through with a bunch of dope guests for the people that pulled up. This one should be no different. Um, Myself, Black Trey, Amin, everybody, Zach Harper, Tom Haberstroh, we're all gonna be in the building. Um, and we're doing the very last episode of the Bomb podcast, which, if you guys don't know, that's basically how this whole sort of like crew of us got together, man. It's kind of crazy. And it started on ESPN, and it was Jade Hoy's brainchild, and we did it as a lark, and then it spanned to this whole thing. And now, we're sunsetting that iteration of the pod. Obviously, y'all know CTD ain't going anywhere. We got this, we got Pack Your Knives, we got the mailbag, we got, a host of other, we got basketball Illuminati. I mean, we got a host of other offerings for you guys. But Bomb, we will be sunsetting, and that will be the last show. And so it'll be a really special night, man. Obviously, I live here in Los Angeles, so that it's gonna be really cool for me specifically in that regard. And so, yeah, man, get your tickets for the live show May 3rd here in Los Angeles at Baron Davis's Slick Studio. Tickets are moving fast, man. Get on it. All right, boom. So, God, these news weeks, man, they just feel so freaking exhausting. And so, of course, we had Liberation Day last week. I explained to you guys, like, look, tariffs don't have a negative or positive characteristic, right? It's a method it's a tool by which you use to elicit certain outcomes. And so, it's not that Donald Trump wanted to put tariffs on the goods from our foreign partners is like, oh, that's so bad. It's like, well, it needs to be paired with some desired goal. And as I told you guys last week, there doesn't seem to be any. Um, I mean, I think I shouldn't say that. Let me backtrack, because I think one of the things, and talking to a couple of homies, one of the frustrations about how it's being reported, the tariff regime is being reported in the mainstream media, is this lack of engagement with the thinking, with the idea that we would need to reorient, excuse me, our trade relationships in the first place. And I think there's something to that. Like, the order that exists right now is unsustainable, and something needs to be done. This is true. I mean, I don't really got the time today to get into, like, the order that we established with the Europeans, whereby we basically pay for their defense by ourselves, which frees them up to give all of their citizens free healthcare and all these other great social programs. And, you know, the order that we established with China, and the quote unquote opening of China, and them giving us access to all their cheap ass labor, which, by the way, Chinese labor costs have definitely increased. And a lot of the menial sort of labor industry in China doesn't really exist anymore. It's kind of been outsourced to places like India, etc. But I was reading Ben Thompson, the author of The Techery, which is to me the best tech reporter in the industry. Um, and he was saying that even highly skilled Chinese workers in, like, say, Apple factories, they're making $6.60 an hour. The minimum wage in America is 7.50, and we functionally don't really even have any minimum wage jobs. So, like, you do that math right there, and Donald Trump's, lip service about reshoring or, onshoring jobs and all of this shit that allegedly is what all of this tariff stuff is supposed to be for, whatever. Like, we came up with all of this stuff, with a lot of this stuff back when we were basically, like, man, we're gonna fight the hell out of the communists, we're gonna fight Russia, blah, 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 blah. And then, the Soviets basically went into extinct, and we've been the sole, basically, superpower until now. And I think that's what all of this is basically about, man. It's this recognition that China is not some backwater. They're not some backwards country. They're not a bunch of, rice farmers, on the countryside, a population of unsophisticated people, blah, 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 blah. I think there's like just a recognition that China is obviously a force to be reckoned with, and we're not the global hegemon anymore. And it's just that recognition, and just like the dumbest way to try to reconcile these issues possible. And so again, like, Donald Trump can talk about, like, the fact that we don't make anything here, that basically our entire economy is based on this idea that we will just consume an unlimited amount of shit, and that's it. And it's these gig economy service industry jobs and, like, nothing else, and we don't produce anything. And even the factories that we do have are, like, highly automated, so it's not like there's mad people working in them. Like, these realities, like, present issues for the country. And then there's the part where, like, not what does it mean to not have all these manufacturing jobs? Well, as we're seeing with Ukraine and the Russians in that war, if we went to war with somebody, and basically the winner is going to be the people that can just manufacture and produce the freaking goods that you need to fight wars, which is increasingly now these high tech, chip influenced gadgets that we don't make here. And, like, what if we had to, like, try to produce a bunch of ammunition, and, like, we're not in the practice of doing that. And it's not like, back in World War II, where we just turned Ford factories and Jeep factories and GM factories into weapon making factories and uniform making factories. And, like, we don't have that capacity. Like, yeah, like, there's a recognition that that's a problem and that we need to be doing something different. These are all true. We need to recognize all of these truths to be, like, real. There's no doubt about that. And the trade imbalance matters, right? It matters. However, just to get all of that out the way, because I need folks to understand that, like, this shit doesn't just come out of the clear blue sky. It can feel like that. Like, one day you hear this guy talking on the campaign, rambling about tariffs, and, we're getting screwed by Europe, we're getting screwed by China, and blah, blah, blah. Like, one day, it can feel like one day he's rambling incoherently about this stuff, and the next day he's about to induce a global depression, a global economic depression. But these realities actually exist, and we need to do something that addresses it. But like this idea that we were going to levy blanket tariffs against everybody in the world and, make them the highest against China. And again, like at no point is Treasury opening up the C notes so that we could flood investment into, these sectors of the economy that we want American industry to take over. And there's just nothing. There's just nothing back in it. It's just like, all right, cool. Like these goods become impossible to buy via foreign trading partners because they're so cost prohibitive. All right, where's the U.S. faction that's gonna slide in and fill that vacuum? Like, there's just nothing happening, and so that's how you know that it's all bluster. It's all stupid. There's nothing there, guys. Like it's not to say that the problem isn't real. It's that the solutions that this guy put forward last week during quote unquote Liberation Day, there's nothing behind it. Like one of the examples, we're going to reshore, we're going to reindustrialize, we're going to build up these new factories. Okay, cool. How do you do that? Raw materials, raw goods that we can source from, different places. China's the holder of a lot of raw goods, but that's neither here nor there. Let's just say we put it together piecemeal. We get the raw goods from, all of our other allies, Africa, all these other places. We put it together piecemeal because now we're beefing with China. They're our equal in terms of the global order. Okay, cool. We had tariffs on the raw goods. What? Like on what planet? On what planet there's not like I keep saying this over and over, but there's nothing there, guys. If this is not me doing a whole Trump bad thing, it's like I can recognize somebody's doing something and be like, I don't think that's gonna work, but I could see the sort of wisdom behind it. Meaning, take for instance, the Nuggets just fired Mike Malone and their GM Calvin Booth. I don't think it's going to work. I think firing your coach with 3 games to go, you empower some interim, expect him to be able in the highest leverage moments to come up with adjustments, so he's not going to implement anything new. Like, how is he going to actually reach? Like, okay, I don't see how that's going to work. But if Josh Kroenke come out and say, yo, the juju was so horrible, we think that, just the spirituality and morale boost, emotional boost is going to be worth it. We're going to be better off for it. I don't buy it, but you know what? Okay, fine. Go with that. Okay, cool. I don't personally buy it, but like, all right, cool. But like with this tariff shit, I'm telling you, there's nothing. It's stupidity. And now when you got people running with the conspiracies that it was just pure market manipulation, bro, like how can you that makes more sense than anything else that's been provided by these clowns in the White House, man. I'm sorry, I get it. I'm not a Trump guy. I get it. Somebody who loves MAGA will be like, well, you don't get it. You don't see it, blah, blah, blah. But like, bruh, show me where the dots are connecting in any way, shape, or form. Sure, if you're like, yo, we're going to revolutionize our relationship with trade. All right, cool. This is what we're doing. And these are the ends that we would like to achieve. Never do they explain what the ends are, bro. Like there's nothing. Okay? There's nothing. And so we get Liberation Day last week, which again, Treasury Secretary of Commerce, Comms, everybody saying this is not a scare tactic. This is not a negotiation tactic. This is not a negotiation tactic. We're serious about the left. We're serious about the tariffs, and we're going hard and blah 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 blah. Right? That's what we were told. And then Jerv, light me up, man. And then Donald Trump yesterday, he posted truth, backs off of the tariffs in a way, and we could get into like the regime that remains right now, but like back completely backs off of it. And this is the truth. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called, keep that one in mind. Keep that in your head. More than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause. Pause. Shouts to killer and murder. And a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. So here's the thing. 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 So what we did was, all right, we're the plan now. Look, I'm just reading the tea leaves. We're isolating China. Okay. We're levying a heavy tariff on all of their goods. So we're escalating the trade war with them, and then we're saying that we're just going to across the board 10% on everybody else. All right, cool. Where was the negotiation then? What was the deals? The calls? What deals were on the table? What deals happened? If all of this, if it's the same for everybody else, nobody negotiated anything. No deal happened. There's no deal on the table. All these deals, people calling you. Joe Dumars with the 20 phones. If everybody else is getting the 10%, then there's no deals. Okay? Then there's no deals. It's insane. And you can go find the quotes, by the way, like, the press secretary, again, the day before, she's like, this is not a negotiation. This is the real thing, blah, 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 blah. Then the next day, hold on, let me pull this up because she's so insane. Let me pull this up. Because the next day, literally the next day, this chick shows up to the press conference. Hold on, let me just make sure the commercials go. She shows up to the press conference and she's like, oh, you idiots, your brains are too small to see it. This is art of the deal shit. This is Trump. Trump was just so nasty. You guys missed it. It's art of the deal. First, it was, we're dead serious about the tariffs. These are here to stay. Blah, 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 blah. Next day, art of the deal. What deal? No, there were no deals made. It's a 10% tariff across the board. And we raised the stakes on China. No deals were made. What are we doing? Like, this is just like, you just gotta be an idiot to actually take any of this stuff at face value. Like, it's a clown show. Bring me up, Jerv, please.
Excuse me. Excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher.
Again, what deal? What deal? This is crazy shit. And we know this is cap. How we really, really, truly know this is all cap. We know that it's all cap. Donald Trump went out and basically, hold up. Sorry, y'all. He went out and basically contradicted exactly what this woman just said. And Jerv, tee me up, please.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, and it had to be done. I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. Art of the Deal. Stephen Miller. Let me read this Stephen Miller quote to you guys. President Trump's master strategy, bold statesmanship, and brilliant tactical planning has done more to reform broken international trade in days than anyone has achieved in decades, while economically and politically isolating the global architect of economic aggression, China. Guys, this is lunacy. Donald Trump just came out. He just came out and said, no, people were getting yippy. People were getting jumpy. Both the stock market and, most importantly, the bond market. Japan, our biggest bondholder. The U.S. Treasury notes are supposed to be literally the safest financial instrument that exists, because it's the U.S. dollar that the entire global order runs on. Because the U.S. is supposed to be reliable. We know, like, the U.S. really cares about economics. Like, Democrat, Republican, they pledge fealty to the economic order. Like, there's no counterweight to the economic order in the U.S. The political power, the financial power is all behind it. So obviously, it's safe to bet on old Uncle Sam and those bonds. Okay, everybody, this is everybody. And then, of course, he's watching the bond markets, and Donald Trump is deeply intimate with the bond markets because he's in real estate. And the bond markets kind of dictate what you're able to borrow and at what rate. And so he sees the bond market completely tanking. And so he's like, all right, let's reverse course. But yet his cronies are out here saying it's this amazing manipulation, or it's this amazing deal making. It's cap. It's complete and utter cap. There's no plan. It's a paper. He's a paper tiger. Okay? There's nothing there, dude. There's nothing there. And, I was reading Ezra Klein's newsletter, and he's like, bro, the market is not a government institution. We can't govern this way. The market has to have a panic for a president to do something that makes what's so obviously the sensible thing to do. It's crazy, but yeah, don't get confused, man. Do not get it confused. There is no plan here. There is no plan to bring jobs back to America. Because if there were, he'd have a list of things that, like, all right, we're trying to raise up this sector here. Watch the investment, watch the tax incentives, watch us be like, yo, you need to hire this many people. Watch us, like, these are the states we're bringing them back to. This is the, like, bruh, nothing. These are the companies we're targeting. Even something like, let's just use the iPhone as an example. Even something like the iPhone, where iPhone or chips or whatever, like, there are components to the phone that Apple sources from different companies. Many of those companies are in China. Many of those companies come from elsewhere. But let's just say Trump was just like, look, we're trying to fucking body China with this high-tech industrial shit. Cool. Again, we're going to get the component parts from everybody from China. We're going to do whatever the hell we can to, like, build up. Because that's another thing. Like, even if we erected these factories, like, there's a certain institutional knowledge. Like, there aren't 30,000 engineers that could run an Apple factory here, not because people here are too stupid. It's because the Apple factories are in China. The people with the know-how to train people to actually make these things, these factories run efficiency. Like, this is actual knowledge-based shit. Like, you can't just erect a new factory with people that have never done it before and then they're gonna push out these phones just as efficiently. And then if you can't source the parts from China as cheap as possible, it's like, bruh, if we really had a plan, we'd be like, all right, we're going to source it as cheap as possible. We're going to, you know what? Apple's going to take hits on these phones at first, but we're going to pay for it to be fine, to make sure their bottom line isn't, completely cooked. Whatever, man. Come up with a way to make it happen. But there's nothing there, y'all. Nothing there. And the bottom line is, man, even with the 10% across the board tariffs, I think a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Like 10% is like, you would be surprised how slim the margins are for so many businesses. A 10% increase could just ruin somebody's business. Certain businesses. I still think if these 10% tariffs across the board might probably still cause a lot of folks to lose their jobs. And then you add to the part where it's a moratorium for 90 days. And so, like, you think any businesses are going to be investing, spending money, hiring more people with all this uncertainty up in the air? No, they're not. So, yeah, it's just, again, I don't want to be the person doing the Trump bad shit. I really don't. But it's nuts. It's nuts to me that anybody thought that anybody could sit up there and defend it. I'm talking about, yo, they're on Fox Business, Fox News, not the little crony, Pravda anchors on Fox News, like actual, like, outside analysts that they have come on as guessing, like, guys, this wasn't a plan. This wasn't some master plan, bro. The bond market was on the verge of collapse, utter and total collapse. Huge sell-offs by Japan, our biggest bondholders. And that's it. That's why we stopped. There's nothing. Anyway, that's our show for today, guys. Please, again, make sure you guys get your tickets to Count the Dings live in Los Angeles on May the 8th. I got the link in my Twitter and Instagram bio, so go check that out immediately. Again, Count the Dings live May the 3rd in Los Angeles at Baron Davis's Slick Studios. It promised to be one of the dopest shows we do. It's the swan song of the Bomb podcast. So that's gonna be super special. And yeah, man, shouts to my guys, producer John Gervais, always keeping the trains running on time, man, on the ones and threes. We will see you guys next week. Peace out, y'all.